What if you could only either win or lose, be married or single, be rich or poor? What if you're actually being tricked into choosing from an illusion of only one of two options, where the risk is neither of which will actually deliver you what you truly want? If faced with a choice, human beings can easily be triggered and possibly tricked into focusing only on the options presented. In most cases, they'll be unconsciously compelled to pick one. In sales, there's a tactic called alternative choice close. Will you want the blue one or the red one? If they give an answer to that choice, oh, definitely the red one. This will have caused them to go several steps beyond where they actually are. And in their imagination, they'll have to subliminally choose which one to actually buy. The proper answer at this stage should be neither yet, because I'm not sure that I even want it at all. People simply don't question the fact that they're only being given and presented with an A or B choice. They tend not to stop and think, can't I have A and B? And maybe C, and probably D and E as well. This rather limiting exclusive presupposition is the core structure of a double bind. This is where a person is presented with a choice of A, which will mean they can't have B, or a choice of B, which will mean they can't have A. The disturbing part of this is they are at risk of falling into the trap of accepting the choice, which also unconsciously accepts the presupposed outcome. By acknowledging that A or B are the only available options, they are buying into a predetermined end outcome. This outcome is more than likely not what they really wanted in the first place. An external example might sound a bit like either you give up your position or will have to go to court, either hand in your notice or face redundancy, either pay this bill or have your car repossessed. This is why we have metaphors like out of the frying pan and into the fire, and I'm caught between a rock and a hard place. Neither options or the outcome they are destined to create are attractive or compelling. These tend to be very narrowing choices, usually creating an element of emotional pressure and can be quite bullying. If under that pressure, a person becomes unconsciously accepting of either choice A or choice B as their only options, that means they've also accepted the presupposed ultimate outcome, which may or may not actually be valid. This will also stop them from fully investigating any other possible options or outcomes. I once had to deal with a car salesperson who had sold a friend of mine an unroadworthy car with what could only be described as a very dodgy, and by dodgy I mean completely illegal, clean MOT. It turned out the car had a cracked sump and a list of other dangerous faults, yet the car had a brand new MOT that had not one single advisory on it. They told my friend that they could return the car for it to be fixed by them, or have quotes done to repair the car themselves. This was a very poor and unacceptable exclusive offer. After insisting on an independent vehicle inspection, I made him an equally limited exclusive offer of money back in full today, or we go to court. He chose the sensible option. Now, when I talk about these limited options, this means both externally from others and internally from self. People do have a tendency to create for themselves some very limiting double binds. I've mentioned in previous videos that when a person is emotionally stimulated, to validate the emotion, they tend to focus only on a predetermined, inevitably negative outcome. This leaves them limited with what will seem like a terrible option or a really terrible option. Examples of this could be, I can stay in this bad relationship or leave and be single and lonely for the rest of my life. I can put up with this terrible job or quit and risk losing my house. Either you accept that you were wrong or I won't speak to you ever again. So what is the core difference between an exclusive presupposition and an inclusive presupposition? Both inclusive and exclusive presuppositions are all about how choices are being presented linguistically. How many alternatives, and in what way are these alternatives being framed? Are they either mutually exclusive options of only A or B, or are there possibilities being presented in an inclusive way where they can coexist more like A and B and maybe C? An exclusive presupposition presents options as if each are mutually exclusive and cannot exist together. Only one can be true and only one can be chosen. If you had a guest come to your house and you said, "Would you like a cup of tea or a glass of water?" they can have only one or the other, with no option for coffee, lemonade, beer, or wine. You have also bypassed the part where you might want to have first asked them if they cared for a drink at all. Another simple everyday example might be, say you wanted your child to go to bed, and instead of ordering them to bed, you could give them an illusion of a choice. Would you like to go to bed at 7:30 or 8 o'clock? They will probably shout 8 o'clock, not really realizing that they have willingly agreed to go to bed. The suggestion of either the one time or the other time is pretty irrelevant, other than allows them to choose their preferred option, yet both options will lead to the same outcome. The overall effect of exclusive framing is it can help to narrow focus and can create decisiveness, or indeed subliminally enforce boundaries with way less risk of resistance. Though it can also be very closed in intent, like a yes-no question, and at times possibly perceived as quite controlling. An inclusive presupposition offers multiple options, all of which are presented in a way that makes them simultaneously possible and valid. This same guest offer that we previously referenced would be framed as, "Would you like a cup of tea and a glass of water?" Or an even better option would be, "Would you like a drink? You can have tea, coffee, water, lemonade, beer, and wine." This presupposes that they can have it all. It expands possibility and reduces pressure for them having to choose only one. The overall effect of this non-directive inclusive style of framing is it better stimulates and encourages open-mindedness, collaboration, and a broader consideration. So why is this so important, especially from an NLP advanced linguistic influencing perspective? Well, with all that we've already covered in this NLP Presuppositions video series, and do please like and subscribe, as it helps us here at the channel to ensure you continue to get the full value of these training videos. And of course, all of the additional advanced linguistic skills already scheduled to be filmed for the future. You will have realized by now how important language is in influencing a person's thinking and emotional stimulation. When you structure choices as inclusive, whether it's what you say or how you encourage them to think, it promotes way more flexibility and openness. When you choose to frame choices as exclusive, done well, as I've already said, it can help to create clarity or decisiveness. That said, done badly or with poor intent, it can backfire and generate perceived limitations and be seen as controlling. When you are listening to others, you'll want to pay very close attention to the current framing of the other person's perceived options. Are they predominantly exclusive and limiting their options? Or are they possibly inappropriately being inclusive and creating overwhelm with far too many complex and convoluted choices? If we want to be helpful and influential, which we do, we can start by helping ourselves and others to recognize and acknowledge the trap of false realities and linguistically supported illusions. It's all too common for limiting beliefs to be created and maintained by false dichotomies. That's flawed thinking that if one thing is true, then that automatically presupposes the other thing cannot be true. An example of this could be either I can have a successful business or a happy family life. I can create personal wealth or I can be principled and honest. These are classic generalized examples of exclusive thinking. NLP Advanced Linguistic Influencing challenged these patterns by reframing them through good questions designed to lead to a more effective, inclusive presupposition, which ultimately is designed to promote mental and emotional flexibility and integration. Now, all presuppositions are distortions, and the best way to start to break down a person's negative, inclusive, or exclusive presuppositions is by asking either, how do you know that these are your choices? Or what outcome are you looking to achieve and what choices will help you best deliver that? As with every video I've created around the power of NLP linguistic presuppositions, we can get great benefit from listening for and drilling down on a person's limiting, inclusive, and exclusive language violations. And we can also create a huge amount of leverage through utilizing inclusive and exclusive advanced linguistic influence skills where most appropriate to assist people to create and view their options in a more positive and effective way. We can easily make choices inclusive by possibly adding a few more options and changing the or to an and we can make choices exclusive by limiting it to just two options and changing the and to an or. If you watched my previous video in this series, you can also cleverly flavor your preferred options with adjective and adverb modifiers. A simple example would be, would you like to develop your self-confidence or your interpersonal skills, which is the classic A or B exclusive. Or you could say, would you like to develop your self-confidence and more importantly, your interpersonal skills, which very much flavors B as the preferred option, yet is still exclusive. And if we wanted to be inclusive and using positive adjective and adverb modifiers, we could say, would you like to effectively develop all of your incredibly important self-confidence, self-worth, and interpersonal skills for positive change? Which is a far more expansive, inclusive, and I'm sure you would agree, compelling option. Inclusive and exclusive NLP presuppositions are a subtle yet very powerful tool in shaping perceptions and guiding behavior. By consciously choosing how to frame options, you influence not only decisions, but also the mindset that people, including yourself, use to approach these decisions. Understanding this important presupposition helps you to break free from restrictive thinking and opens up the world of expanded choices, possibility, and ultimately empowerment, which are all key principles that are the heart of advanced linguistic influencing. In our next video, which is the 10th of this 10-video series, I'll be taking you through the powerful principle of unconscious hierarchies and lists with the NLP presuppositions of ordinals. So do like and subscribe to ensure you get access to the next tier of advanced linguistic influencing skills. And I very much look forward to sharing so much more with you as we learn, evolve, and create positive change together.